Good morning. Sunday, September 1st, 2024. Time for a little garden tour with Sausage, the cat. So the voles have completely killed the burning bushes now. It's pretty well official. There's maybe a little bit of green on that far one over there. But I really got to get this bed a little more hygienic, I think. So the tomato patch really got away from me. I started on a new trellising system, which I love, where I just set an 1.5 inch piece of conduit on top of a T-post that's driven up to its wing. But you then got to follow up and hang your strings and weed the things, so that's my fault. But there's a lot of stuff in there, including weeds, including the row of potatoes, which is this row between the T-posts. And I got a lot of volunteer pumpkin gourd stuff from last year coming in, so I don't really want to weed eat the bed down. And the Hopi Blue, first year growing this Hopi Blue, and how exciting. This stuff tillers like crazy. I don't know what to think of it. My normal 60-inch row spacing seems to be really well adapted to Hopi Blue. I know this isn't their traditional way of growing it, but when every plant wants to send up 2, 3, sometimes 4 tillers, like serious ones here, this one actually is 4 tillers, 1 main. It's tasseling on the tillers, which is awesome, and I'm still trying to figure out, is it going to try to make ears on these tillers? Anyway, I'm pretty excited. But I do see there's no way we're going to do the really close 3-inch spacing 60-inch row or 60,000 seeds per acre type planting strategy with this stuff. Not that you're really trying to compete with modern hybrids, I guess, but this is fun. And Hopi Blue is supposed to have 30% more protein than your traditional dent corns. So anyway, I can't wait to see what happens. As we can see, I have still a really bad vein or strip in this garden. Right here, plants have just stayed small and spindly, and it angles off. Over there, I don't know how well this is going to show up. So that's my 3 60-inch row spaced Hopi Blues. It should be observed that I did a 7-inch row space staggered. So there's a pretty heavy population in this row. This row was going to be the 3.5, but germination was actually kind of spotty. I planted into very heavy cereal rye with this, and it seems like it can emerge from some pretty great depth, but it doesn't want to break through massive heavy cover crop residue. So this was supposed to be 3.5-inch spacing, I believe, and this one, oh, am I backward? Man, I can't even tell now. It's more like 5. I'm gonna say this one was the 7-inch row spacing. Yeah, I don't know. Germination was relatively poor in some spots, so. Alright, well, moving on. We have 2 regenerative areas here. This area is the whatever came up area, including squash vines, weeds, all stuff that is going to be chopped, dropped, dried, and pyrolyzed. And then this other area, which is a pretty specific mixture of sorghum Sudan grass, some tall view blocker from green cover seed, which is just various sorghums and Egyptian wheat, sunflowers, okra, sun hemp, cowpea, although that one's a little eaten. They typically are looking pretty good back in there. This is a pretty dense stand. And I don't know if there's anything else. Oh, sunflower, if I didn't say that. That's a hard angle with the sun. I can't see anything. Oh, you know what? There is some of last year's Bloody Butcher corn kind of in here, which probably wasn't a great idea. But whatever. Alright. Oh, and that's just some squash vine and red clover. But this is a really incredibly dense stand. And I do plan on chop and dropping it, letting it dry for a bit, and then pyrolyzing it with my rolling shrouded weed burner, whatever. So should be pretty intense. And I did in this row burn the Springs cereal rye, which I had laid down. I had stepped it down toward the end of May. Just burned it off and hosed it off too, so I didn't lose the biochar. There's a little bit of ash, but not much, mostly black carbon. And no fertilizer, and this stuff really has done well. And then is the other end of the weed row. Obviously there's nowhere near the biomass, but there's also no seed required. It's my hope, and I'm probably going to be proven wrong though, because I did some of this amaranth is left over from last year's indiscrepancies. It's my hope that I really wipe out this year's seed supply of weed seed anyway with my burning process. So we'll see what happens. I actually plan on doing this burn down technique on all of this whole garden, the stubble, after it dries down a bit. So we'll see how that goes. And here's just a quick scan of where I'm at with my yard projects. Let's get started. I'm doing some storage back here. I'm opening myself up to a lot of weed eating, but that's alright. It's kind of out of view of the house at least. And this Oliver, man, I can't wait. This winter I'm digging in. I have a new, or I should say I used a diesel engine to put back in here. This thing came with a diesel. I've never really been in here. This engine's not in great shape. It's grossly oversized for the application. 316 cubic inch engine. The 1550 came with the whatever, 257 or something cubic inch, the 47 horsepower. So, but I finally got this loader on it. Got an old bucket on it. Pretty excited about this. This thing works pretty well. I finally got all my wood in one place largely. I gotta redeck the other trailer with these 2x10s. So I did just weed eat down this area. It was weedy and had a lot of volunteer sorghum Sudan grass over here, which was a pretty heavy stand, but now it's down. I'm drying it. Things aren't looking too bad back here. This pine, this is one of the first ones I planted here 4 seasons ago, and it's starting to make a nice pine needle mulch. Smells beautiful. Yeah, this poor guy's not doing too well. I have to fertilize. The rest of the arborvitae are doing quite well. The dead stuff in there is just some grapevine. I gotta get the source of the rest of the grapevine before it grows over and takes over the hedge, the buckthorn hedge. Not really a wonderful thing, but a free thing. Provides a lot of privacy. Yeah, I finally trimmed up the white oak. This is a volunteer. It was a little sapling when I got here, back when this elm tree was a fully living monster. And the voles have eaten off almost all of the bark from this elm, which is amazing that it's still trying to grow. Things are tough. We finally got what was left of this stump here, and it died. So there's still a pretty healthy amount of the winter rye straw that I laid down. Grew pumpkins in it. Got completely robbed this year on the giant pumpkins as I purchased a couple packets of Atlantic Giant seeds from the farm store in Homer Glen, but they turned out to just be a regular field pumpkin. So that was disappointing. I knew the seeds didn't look right when I got them out. I should have probably tried to find another source. Anyway, I didn't do much with this bed this year. I just let some of the clover and stuff grow on up through the cereal rye that I stepped down. And oh, look here, this is one of the Atlantic Giant vines. It had a green pumpkin all year. Oh well. Oh gosh, yeah, I got the snowmobile now hidden in the garden row. The unique rake, the ditch digger, snowblower, and tiller over here. I just gotta tidy up around them now. Finally weeded it down this deceased grape row, so I gotta figure out if I wanna. I tried just putting my thornless blackberry cuttings in here. And they took and they lived through part of this year, and then they all died off, so I gotta root them a little bit better this year. Otherwise, the other raspberries are doing phenomenally. Little ground bee nest there. Oh yeah, I'm tidying up around the pool as well. This is looking all right. Got this one grapevine I've planted here, and it is finally making some actual growth. I don't remember what it is. I think it's going to be a Lakemont. I kept track of it for the first 2 seasons. I guess this is season 4 now with this thing, and finally I weeded around it and I mulched it. Everything is organic for me, so if I don't keep on a mulch program for something to break down and turn into soil nutrients, it's tough. And this area finally got cleaned up. What a wreck this spot was for many years. Oh yeah, there's the trailer full of the stuff I moved out of Romeoville. I have not yet unloaded it after 3 months. Some scrap and some mixed goodies. But yeah, this was such a wreckage, a pile of wood chips and boards, garbage, just an disorganized wood pile. And I did a shallow till and disked in some grass seed. Couldn't find any of my favorite RTF for this, so it's just annual ryegrass and tall fescue blend. But germination seems pretty good, so I'm happy. And I think that's about it. Oh yeah, the wood chips had broken down into a really nice, stable potting mix. So as I dug into it, of course I found some wood chips, but I figure I can actually grow stuff in this. So I'll do some I'll do my arborvitae. When I trim my arborvitaes, I'll root 40 or 50 in the 1 gallon pots, and then the rest I'll probably do in the thornless blackberry. I really got to get going on my trellises for the steps. Always want to grow small ornamental gourds around the deck, as well as other vining and climbing things. But I haven't gotten to it yet. And then, wow, so I did do finally an amethyst wisteria. I've been wanting to do this kind of reduced size wisteria for years, and I got it in this little off the deck bed, which is just miserable. It grows weeds reasonably well, but nothing else. Just over here is the other wisteria, which is about to turn into an explosion and take over the whole area. So, go figure. And then the tiger eye cut leaf staghorn sumac is doing great. And I got a couple of the northern spire arborvitaes, 5 of them started in here. So I can't wait to round out this bed with a few more down that way, and then an interplanting a little bit forward and centered, just like the other side. And amazingly, these were planted same size as those on the other side 1 year earlier. So these things really just grow like lightning. These are the larger variety, the giant, green giant. And they're growing pretty well. And there's the tractor dino. Hopefully I'll have this area cleaned up by the end of the day. Alright, peace out.